Every pain from the neck up is a brain hemorrhage, and everything from the neck down is fucking cancer as far as I'm concerned.
I was doing stand-up for a while, but I was really not getting a lot of work.
Sucks, what's the matter with me?
I'll never forget this famous club owner here in New York. He said, you know, that's why you and Chris Rock and Colin Quinn are never going to go anywhere, because that language, nobody wants to hear that language. And I was like, fuck you. I was already thinking to find a venue where you could do something that wasn't just stand-up and you could do whatever the hell you wanted to.
He was going to do a gig out in England, and his wife Ann was pregnant at the time, 5 months pregnant.
No smoking.
They go out there, bang, she has the baby as soon as they get there.
I had nothing to do. I was stuck in England. I had no way to make money, so I just started writing the show and putting it together. I would call Chris on the phone and talk to him about it. I wanted the show to be about life and death. You know, my father had died, quite suddenly at a young age.
You know, we spend a lot of time in this show talking about death and disease and cancer and catastrophe, and we do it because, well, I think it's fucking funny.
I played around with it as I was going through England and touring in England and Ireland before we went to Edinburgh.
Once we hit Edinburgh, it was already given the title No Cure for Cancer. Originally, it was going to be No Cure for Whooping Cough, and, that didn't fly. And no. So, No Cure for Backache, cancer seemed like a good one.
I'm just a regular Joe with a regular job. I'm your average white suburbanite slob.
The very first night, we were going to open up with the Asshole song, and we had a meeting with the promoter of that gig. And we went into a little room the night before and played him the song. We said, we got a number we think is going to be great to open the show with. We played it for him, and he sat there and listened to it and went, no, whatever you do, don't play that song. That song, death, don't do it. We didn't know what to do at that point. We were really reaching for ideas, and there was an old bit that we used to do in college, this bagpipe bit, where one guy is going, the other guy goes, Figured, hey, we're in Scotland, they'll love it here, This is bagpipe country. There's even a video of when we did the bagpipes bit. But unfortunately, the guy that was filming us screwed up with the sound, so you don't hear anything. But oddly enough, that's what the audience sounded like, so you're really not missing much. So we said after that, maybe we ought to try that Asshole song. Fuck that guy.
Sometimes I park in handicapped spaces while handicapped people make handicapped faces. I'm an asshole.
First time we played the Asshole song, that second night, it was like, it just got such a big response. I mean, it got big laughs. That was really the kickoff. Because once you get the Asshole song, if you come to see that show and you see the Asshole song, you know what our approach is, and basically there's no prisons.
I can remember a time in this country when men were proud to get cancer, goddammit, when it was a sign of manhood.
My wife and my job, my kids and my car, my feet on my table, and a Cuban cigar.
I think a lot of people misunderstood what he was doing.
But sometimes that just ain't enough to keep a man like me interested.
He wasn't saying that it wasn't a medical show. He's not talking about there's no cure for cancer. He might as well said, nobody gets out alive, or, exit only. He could have had a million titles that would say the same thing.
I gotta go on stage, I gotta do all this stuff. Wow, you must really be fucking nervous. Huh? If I were you, I would really be uptight.
Really?
Oh, there's a ton of people out there.
Really?
Yeah, critics are out there. Every comedian in the world, Robin Williams, is out there with a notepad and a typewriter.
What's her name's up there?
No, what's her name?
Yeah, the Thatcher babe.
Great.
She said if she doesn't laugh tonight.
The tabloids in England actually helped us quite a bit because they started to write stuff negatively about No Cure for Cancer, which just sold more tickets and more tickets and more. It's like taking a big ad. There'd be an article that big about, me making fun of people who are dying of cancer, and then some quote from some woman whose husband was dying of cancer and how offended they were by just the title of our show being on posters all over the town. And you'd sell another 100 tickets that night, so it was great.
It wasn't like he was complaining to the audience. It was like the audience was his gang. He immediately brought everybody in and everyone was with him. And it was that room against everyone who was outside of that club. And that was really what his genius was.
Hi. Hi. We're the morons.
You know, it's funny,
It's a
actually
good part of
going
the
back to something
interview
you
there.
had said, Dennis, about when you were getting ready to get your thing together for the Edinburgh thing, that I'd forgotten was is also kind of important, was we were doing the Blue Light Club.
What are you, like the host of the show now?
Yeah, before
Yeah,
when he was
like-
doing
No,
his
I'm the
solo
only guy
thing,
who
he had
actually
nothing.
remembers history correctly. So I thought I'd lay a little bit of
okay,
it
good.
on you.
Go ahead.
Okay. And you'd come down and you were the beat poet. And that's where we wrote the Downtrodden song. You and I
That's
wrote
right.
it together
That's right.
backstage.
That's right.
Everything is horrible, yeah. Really, really, really terrible.
And I think that one thing
I think I wrote the majority of it. You wrote the music and I wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, that would be the majority of it. You wrote half and I wrote the other half.
Doesn't really remember. Nobody
The
remembers
words
it
are the
anyway, so it
important
doesn't
thing.
matter, actually.
Yeah.
No, but of course the words are without music, it's just a sentence.
After England, we opened up, I guess, at the Actors Playhouse at that point, down in New York in the Village, and had a long run. We actually had an extended run there. The show went very well. It started off a little quietly, but then the reviews started to come in. It was a great review in the Times.
The thing about Denis that was really good, I think it also makes him a good actor, is every night, no matter whether it was a planned stuff or ad lib, it always sounded like it was coming out of his mouth for the first time, and that even sometimes he was surprised that he said it.
Because most people think life sucks and then you die. I disagree. I think life sucks, then you get cancer. Then you go into chemotherapy, you lose all your hair, you feel bad about yourself. Then all of a sudden the cancer goes into remission, you come out, you look good, you feel good, you're going great. All of a sudden you have a stroke, you can't move your right side. And one day you step off the curb at 68th by Lincoln Center and bang, you get hit by a bus and then maybe you die.
I'll tell you a real inside story about No Cure for Cancer. We did 2 weeks or a week or something in New York where they were going to shoot it for the special. Ted Demi, who was directing the show, said, it looks great. I got to tell you guys, it's just going to look fantastic on camera, but there is one little problem. And we said, what? He said, well, you guys are going to have to be backstage, obviously, when the show starts. You're going to have to be back there about an hour before, because we open the doors then, and the crowd's going to come in, and there's no bathroom back there. So we were like, we can live with that. Well, I think was it the first or second night of shooting? I think it was the first night. All of a sudden, I had to take the biggest shit, one of the biggest shits I've ever taken in my life. And this friend Regan Kennedy, a friend of ours, was like working security, and he said, well, there's no way you can get through the crowd. It's jammed. You can't just walk out and they'll think it's the beginning of the show. And I said, what am I going to do? And he said, hang on. And he went away for about 5 minutes and he came back. And I was trying to gauge the whole time. Like I'm talking to Adam and Chris and the other guys in the band. And I'm like, they're saying, like, do you think you can make it through the show? And I'm like, I think I can make it. Yeah, I can. And like a minute would go by and I go, I can't make it. Finally, Regan comes back with this bucket and a roll of toilet paper. And he says, this is your only option, pal.
Oh my God.
Don't film this. Jesus Christ, don't film it.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. See ya.
We love each other.
Get the fuck out. Get your cameras and your guys and get the fuck out.